I have a feeling that I need to wash my hands repeatedly. So it's horrible in daily life because I spend a lot of time in bathrooms and people find it really weird. Then anxiety affects me even more in daily life because I don't like to talk to new people, and that is all what school is about. So it's really hard for me sometimes, and I need to kick myself and be like, you need to say that. But it's really hard, and depression affected me mostly in my early years, but it still affects me sometimes. I get overwhelmed, or when I have too much work it can come back, and in my daily life it mostly makes me, like when something sad happens, I exaggerate it in my mind and then it goes with it, so that's pretty much it.
Basically, what it does, it's kind of like just this kind of cloud, so to speak, over everything I do. It's like this overwhelming sadness that just kind of like breaks into me.
So depression's not normal depression. It's actually referred to as MDD, major depressive disorder, which is a far more severe case of depression. And then the PTSD, post-traumatic disorder, is more of just, there's a lot of pieces to it.
Depression, and it's caused me to not enjoy things as much as I used to.
Well, I have OCD anxiety, which is a type of anxiety disorder that's coupled with OCD, so it's kind of two disorders on top of one another. So it's a panic disorder. I've been seeing a psychiatrist since I was 9. I've been on anxiety pills since I was 9. I was so germophobic as a child that I had to wear gloves because my hands had been washed so many times they would bleed. I just like had no skin left on my hands.
I was at a friend's house, and essentially, like while I was trying to sleep, like he came in at one point and basically stuck a gun to my head, and because I can't always just say that, it's like he essentially just, this is so awkward and weird to say.
He raped you.
Yeah, that.
I wasn't alive, like, everything I did was numbed out, like, the food didn't taste the same, smells didn't really excite me, nothing was there for me, and the only thing I could really feel was just pain, and so I figured the more pain I put myself through, the more I'd feel alive.
Hurt yourself in the past? What made you want to hurt yourself? No?
No.
Okay.
Skip that question.
Then I'm guessing you don't want to answer the question about suicide.
No.
I thought that if you went to therapy, that meant automatically you're completely insane. And so that was probably the hardest thing for me, was admitting that I needed help and going.
Telling yourself that there is always tomorrow and that things will get better.
It's one of those things where it frequently occurs, like laying in bed. It constantly like creeps into nightmares, and it's just like wakes me up, and I'm frequently crying, and it's awful. And yeah, because of it, yeah, he was my best friend, and yeah, I have a very hard time trusting people now because of that whole thing. It's like, oh God, if this is what my best friend for several years has done, it's like.
I kind of shut myself out from my family, and I would cut myself and I burned myself. So my freshman summer was possibly the worst time.
It's kind of like that gnawing feeling in the pit of your stomach, and then your heart starts to race, and your breathing picks up, and in severe cases I'll start shaking.
The hospital stay was good. I mean, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. There was a lot of people there that were going through similar things and worse things, and it was a good environment to just talk. I got that talking about feelings and things that I had troubles with wasn't as hard as I thought, and it actually helped a little.
I don't necessarily know if I have triggers, but like from time to time I'll see something or hear something and it's just kind of like, boom, it's on now. Slowly start to decay and just feel sick and sad.
I haven't really talked about it with a lot of people, so no. However, on a regular basis, people kind of judge me for like my socially awkwardness or not wanting to talk, or just certain things that I might do that are hooked onto that. Yeah, they don't know what happened, so that's more of why I don't. Is I'd rather talk to someone who would get it 100% than not really. Like I want someone to understand, not sympathize.
In good ways, like you look at it as in like this person has a problem, and here they are, they're taking the steps to get help, which is admirable. But in bad ways, like how bad can it really be? Like I think this person is just over-exaggerating.
Because I'm so open about mine, a lot of people come to me about theirs, and I've barely had a single friend who hasn't had at least some sort of issue going on. It's more common than people think.
I think it is a serious problem, and it can be dangerous if not taken into proper caution.
And it's not like a bone that grows back. It's not like when you get scratched, it just heals itself. It doesn't. And you can do certain things that help you a little bit, I think, but it still stays. And I think that with the possibilities that are in America, like people who have mental illness here, it's so much easier to go to therapy, to talk to people, because there are nice people here. So my take on it would probably be that you can try to make it better, but if you don't like specifically concentrate on healing it or like making it right, then it won't get right.
I don't necessarily think it's for a good reason or a reason at all. It's just life. I think it's unfair. Like, I don't want anyone to feel this kind of suffering inside, and not even with depression, but just like, I don't want people to feel like, you know, they're going crazy, because it's not their fault. It's not anything they did, and they shouldn't feel at fault for it. It's just kind of how your body works.
If people haven't been exposed to it before, if they've never experienced anybody who has this sort of problem, it's very alien to them, and it's very hard to relate to.
I wish that they would understand that it's something you can't stop. I mean, they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, it's crazy, but I can't stop it. Like, it's not something that I can just like stop. No.
But I feel like people very often underestimate just how a person can feel having a mental disorder. Like, people don't often think anything of it, minor or major. Like, even depression can be a huge thing, and people don't think anything of it. And also, yeah, like I was saying, the other thing, it's like, guys have mental disorders too. Just because there's that whole stereotype of, oh, females, it's like, there are plenty of guys with anorexia, there are plenty of guys with bulimia and PTSD and depression. And
I wish they knew that they were a lot more common than perceived to be, and that it's not a sign of weakness or oversensitivity.
I wish that people who have a mental illness but don't know really how to deal with it, I wish they understood that so many people have it. Like 90% of the people in this school are dealing with some sort of mental illness or have a friend or family member who has it. And I wish people would just kind of be more straightforward about it, not try to hide it as much, because that makes it harder for the people who are trying to find help but are too scared to admit that they have a problem.
so something that I recently learned, because a lot of people who have mental disorders often beat themselves up when really they shouldn't. Like, you don't deserve it. If you have a mental disorder, you really do not deserve it. Don't ever think you do. Like, a good way to think about it, because yeah, you go, oh, I'm a horrible person, and oh, I deserve it. And I know, like, you're probably, you with mental disorders are probably thinking that right now. It's like, I don't care what this crazy person is saying. It's like, I totally do deserve it. You don't. Imagine another person, like someone else who possibly has had something similar happen, and just think of all the things that run through your mind that you say about yourself. It's like, would you say those things to them?
Advice. It's so hard to give advice on something that you really can't control yourself. But I mean, I already told about some stuff that I do, and I think you, like, especially people with OCD, you need to find something to do with your hands instead of like being really abnormally. If you have, because there are lots of types of OCD, but if you have what I have, that you really need to have clean hands all the time, you need to find something to do with your hands instead of that. It's like you need to draw or write or whatever, like hand, like, or like make small things out of wood, or I don't know, any creative action will help you, I think. And for people with anxiety, you really need to talk to people. I know it's hard. I seriously know it is really hard, and I sometimes can't do it myself, but it's just something you need to do. And I know it helped me when I found more friends that cared and who like me the way I am. So try to like look around in your neighborhood. Is there someone that you think it's nice? Just talk to them. Just be like, hey, how are you? I know it's so hard, and you're just gonna be like, oh my gosh, they're gonna think I'm so weird. Just be like, hey, how are you? You don't need to really say anything else. They're gonna take care of it. It's gonna be okay. So yeah.
I think that you should know that you are not alone, that it's very common, and just try and be positive and accept that this isn't, you know, something detrimental. It's just a part of you, and you need to just have a little help. That's it.
So, and I also think that everyone should have a bucket list, because it sounds really silly. If you look forward to them, then you can always remind yourself that that is something that is worth living for. Like, I'm not going to diet, I'm going to do this first, and that first. And so I think that it's very important that you have things in your life that you can look forward to.
To get help, I know it doesn't sound appealing, or like it's necessary, but there are a lot of tools and a lot of medicines to help you feel better, and you shouldn't be miserable. Nobody deserves to be.
This is my encouragement notebook. I ask people to write encouraging things into it. Some of them are just general, and some of them are more personal. And regardless of what they say or put in it, for me, when I look through it, it's like a physical proof of that, hey, people actually do like they do think that I'm worth it.
Just live as long as you can. Do whatever it takes to feel better. Not hurting yourself, obviously, but just try and find things that make you happy. Just keep searching, because there's stuff out there. Like, just keep searching.